feel like maybe they softened the reality of the GDR regime. So I don't think they showed like, for example, like the repressive elements of it because it looked great. You know what I'm saying? Like they showed the positives of what it was like living in the East. But I don't think they showed the totality of things. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's what it felt like.
I mean, the entire movie is about what his mom believes about East Germany and about socialism. It's not a complete treatment of what the GDR was like. The opening sequence, I think, makes a very clear statement about the difference between kind of the story and the reality, right? You are getting kind of this juxtaposition, like essentially saying that the idea of socialism is a lie, right? That's kind of what the opening sequence is saying, because it juxtaposes kind of the dream and the reality so starkly in a not at all subtle way. And then the rest of the movie is about recreating a socialist country that the mom has lived in and wants to live in, but it's very clear that that country never really existed. It kind of only existed in her head. And so Alex is kind of recreating an idealized version of this in order to make his mom at ease, but it's going for what she wants to see and not what is actually the reality, right? Let's bookend it by, in the beginning, you have this juxtaposition in the title sequence, and in the end, he outright says it. It was kind of reflecting after, I think it's just after she's died. And he says, well, I think in some way, the country that I recreated in her bedroom never quite existed except in her head. And that's okay, right? So on the one hand, it's very scathing about what East Germany was like. But on the other hand, it's also very sympathetic to it, right? Like ultimately, Alex is somebody who is like 18, 19 when East Germany collapses, but he's very much not attached to the past and very much looking forward because he's got his entire life ahead of him. And so he's getting like a job with a Western company and he's moving on rapidly. And then he has to rewind when his mom wakes up and he has to recreate this world that he's already left behind, right? And then in doing so, I think it's much more like in the middle, the treatment of it is much more ambivalent, where it shows its definite flaws, but it also shows why people care and why people are not happy with the change, right? I think it's a very human movie. And I think it portrays this very complicated situation in a very human way.